every little adjustment in the film room or in the classroom. You really can, a lot of those things just kind of pop up in different situations, and maybe a guy plays you different here, plays you different there, and just making sure that Sam knows exactly what I'm going to do in that situation, and he knows exactly what Diggs or Treadwell or Jarius or any of our receivers are going to do in those certain situations. So, like I said, one of those situations came up yesterday, and I'm glad it did, because it's something that we hadn't really talked about.
Kind of get used to it before you actually get into a game scenario, get it out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about offense. It's all about thinking like each other. And if you can kind of know what the other person is thinking before he does it, that can really pay off. I mean, I think that's a lot of times what happens with Brady and his receivers. Those guys, they're on the same page, and I think that's something that just takes time.
That said, where does that set the expectation for what the passing game can be this year?
Well, I know we have a lot of confidence. I know as a group we have a ton of confidence. We have a lot of guys that can make plays, and we're just excited to go prove it, because you can say all you want about how good you are, but until you go prove it on the field, it doesn't really matter. So for us, it's exciting that we get to play 60 minutes of football and go out and show what we can do. Excited
to play on Monday Night Football. Hey, you get to come in right away as the starter this season after proving yourself here last year.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, just like I said before, just to go compete and play football, play 60 minutes, and just to go out there and practice is great and all that, but I mean, you go through OTs, you go through training camp, you go through all those situations for this situation, for games, and that's why we play this game. And I think I don't think there's gonna be one person on either locker room that's not excited to be there.
Adam is a Minnesota native. Randy Moss going into the Hall of Fame, or Ring of Honor, I should say. What are your memories of him, and growing up, and how he stood out to you?
Well, I have a ton of memories of him. Him and Chris Carter, Jake Reed, those are the guys that made me want to play football. I mean, they made me want to play receiver because of the way that they played the game, played at a high level. I got some Randy Moss cleats for the game, because that guy. I mean, just the way that he was able to play the game, the way he was able to really make that offense so much better, just because of the plays he was able to make down the field. So it'll be fun to see him, and I'm glad that he's getting honored.
From a skill set perspective, what stands out about his game to you?
I think just his ability to make plays. I mean, you can say he's fast, you can say he's big and things like that, but just his ball skills. When the ball was in the air, there was not too many times he didn't come down with it, and it didn't matter if there's 2, 3 guys around him, he was still coming down with it. So that was a cool thing for me as a kid watching. Was just every time the ball was in the air and that ball was launched up in the air, you got pumped because you thought there was gonna be a big play coming.
And then Adrian Peterson, he was in the league long before you were here. What was it like, kind of that transition, going from a guy who watched him to a guy that's playing with him?
Yeah, it was different because obviously I was a fan before I got here, and then he was actually one of the first guys to congratulate me when I signed, and he was just a really good teammate, really good person, and to watch him work, it really showed me that even though he's one of the best running backs in the game, and he's out here busting his tail, that kind of really just showed me like, hey, this is how this league works. You got to work, and it doesn't matter if you're an undrafted guy or you're a first-round draft pick. You got to work, and you got to keep continuing to get better, because that's how you become successful, and that's how you become a really good player.